Every empire that has ever crumbled didn't collapse because an enemy broke through its walls. It collapsed because something inside the foundation, the will, the resolve, broke first. And in your life, your mind is your empire. If you do not master it, if you do not train it, if you do not guard it with ruthless vigilance, you will one day wake up to find you are no longer the ruler, but the prisoner of your own thoughts. Imagine waking up in the dead of night, drenched in sweat, your heart pounding as if it wants to escape your chest. You sit up feeling the weight of countless worries pressing on you. Your mind drifts to debts, to relationships fraying at the edges, to dreams you shelved because they seem too distant. You reach for your phone, hoping for distraction, and instead you find headlines screaming disaster, comparison images of people winning, and messages reminding you of where you failed. The darkness in the room swallows you, and you feel smaller than you've ever felt before. That darkness is the cost of ignoring your mental health. What if, instead of surrendering to that darkness, you learn to shine from within? What if you could build a light so powerful that no midnight terror and no piece of bad news could extinguish it? That is what mental mastery is, the ability to generate clarity, purpose, and resilience even when the world is conspiring to drown you in chaos. Right now, you might think you are fine. You might tell yourself, I'll deal with it later. But every day you delay is a chip taken out of your fortress. Think of a dam holding back a river. A tiny crack can go unnoticed until it becomes a canyon. It starts with small compromises a night. You let anxiety keep you from sleep. A day you let distraction steal your focus. A moment you allow self-doubt to drown out your potential. Each one silent, almost invisible, until suddenly you're standing in the rushing water wondering how the dam broke. If you are over 30, 40, 50, every day you let your mental health degrade is a gamble you can't afford. Time is relentless, and opportunities slip away quietly. Your independence, your creativity, your ability to shape your destiny, they don't stay intact forever. Before you know it, that crack becomes a gorge, and you find yourself drifting, helpless, wondering if you'll ever find the strength to build a new dam. You may think, I've held on this long, I'll figure it out later. But that later rarely arrives. The gaps widen, the panic deepens. The sense of being lost intensifies. It is only by wresting control of your mind back into your hands day by day, moment by moment, that you can reclaim your life. Let me tell you a story. It was the early 1900s when I began interviewing Andrew Carnegie, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and so many others. I asked them, what was your greatest obstacle? Edison said, my greatest enemy was my own doubt. Carnegie said, my greatest opponent was the fear that my ideas would never be enough. Henry Ford whispered to me, they told me I was too small for the railroad, too short for mechanics, but the thing that could have stopped me was my own mind accepting their words. Every one of them faced breakdowns, bankruptcies, betrayals. But before they overcame external forces, they had to conquer themselves. Mindset is not a buzzword. It is the battlefield where every victory begins and ends. It is where courage is born or crushed. You can't out-hustle a broken mind. You can't out-innovate a mind at war with itself. You can't outlast the storms if your mind folds at the first thunder. So how do you train this mind? How do you become the general of your own mental army? It begins with clarity. Clear your head of the static, the noise, the shoulds that aren't yours, and the supposeds imposed by others. Clarity is the lens through which you see what truly matters. Without clarity, you push in every direction and go nowhere. With clarity, you move like an arrow, precise, unstoppable, destined. Visualize your life as a ship at sea. Without a map and compass, you drift wherever the currents push. Your mind, untrained, is like a ship without a rudder easy, to be swept by every wave of fear, comparison, and distraction. But when you decide your North Star, your purpose, every wave becomes a chance to adjust your sails, not sink. How many times have you found yourself scrolling through social media, comparing your life to the highlight reels of others? How many nights have you lain awake replaying conversations, worrying that you said the wrong thing, that you'll never be enough? How many mornings have you hit snooze, telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow, only to wake up tomorrow with the same excuses? You think tomorrow will be magical. You think some mystical force will grant you clarity and courage. But that's a Leone told to keep you comfortable. True clarity comes from introspection, from honest conversation with yourself. It comes from sitting alone, feet on the floor in the dark, and asking, what am I really afraid of? And then listening to the answer, however painful. Fear, doubt, regret, these are the ghosts that haunt the untrained mind. You can't banish them by distraction. You banish them by shining the light of truth on them, by saying, I see you, fear. You have no power here unless I let you. That declaration is your first step toward control. Once you have clarity, you must anchor yourself in belief. And belief is not a prayer you whisper once and forget. It is a flame you carry inside, fed daily by conviction. It is the conviction that no matter how loud the world screams at you to quit, no matter how many doors slam in your face, no matter how many times failure stares you down, you will keep moving. Because you believe in a future that demands your belief, not your doubt. Let me share another story. I met a man who started with nothing. No money, no connections, no advantages. He was told he was too old, too inexperienced. But he clung to one belief, that ideas backed by unwavering persistence could move mountains. He spent years refining his vision, reading, experimenting in his small workshop, failing countless times, yet never relenting. The seed of belief he carried in his mind grew roots so deep that no storm could uproot it. Eventually, he created a breakthrough product that revolutionized an entire industry. When I asked him what made the difference, he said, others had better resources, others were younger, others had more education, but they didn't have my belief. I just refused to let failure become my story. Belief is not blind faith. It is faith backed by evidence you create through discipline. Discipline is the unsung hero of every high achiever's journey. It is what separates those who dream from those who become. Discipline is not about punishment. It is about liberation. It frees you from the tyranny of your fleeting emotions. When you feel motivated, discipline feels redundant. When you feel terrified, discipline becomes essential. Because discipline is the promise to yourself that no matter how dark the dawn, you will rise. Every morning before the world even stirs, discipline is waking up and saying, I am not at the mercy of my feelings. Every day, discipline is choosing the pain of focus over the pain of regret. It is that 5 a.m. alarm that jolts you out of comfort. It is the cold plunge that shocks you into presence. It is the book you read when you'd rather binge television. It is the habit of 2 more push-ups, 10 more pages, 1 more email when quitting whispers, stop. But discipline alone can become rigid. That is why you must temper it with adaptability. The world is unpredictable. Plans will fail. Circumstances will shift. If you cling to rigidity, you break. Adaptability is your flexibility under fire. It's the capacity to bend without losing your essence, to change tactics without abandoning your mission. Thomas Edison famously said, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That's adaptability. When the filament burned out one night, he didn't sulk. He experimented until he found one that glowed, then another, then another. His mind remained unbreakable because he knew failure was just data. So clarity shows you the path. Belief gives you the fire. Discipline builds your engine. Adaptability steers you through storms. But even these 4, while powerful, are incomplete without gratitude and resilience to round them out. Gratitude is not a cliche, it is a strategic advantage. When you train your mind to notice the blessings, the air in your lungs, the roof over your head, the unseen efforts of countless strangers that sustain you, you tap into a reservoir of strength. Gratitude reframes your story from why is this happening to me to what can I learn from this. Gratitude dissolves entitlement, which is the cancer of growth. The man who believes he deserves success without the grind will never build it. But the man who wakes each morning grateful for the chance to grow tramples every obstacle underfoot. And finally, resilience, the indomitable spirit to keep forging ahead when every part of you wants to give up. Resilience is not a feeling, it's a muscle. You build it by moving when you feel broken, by speaking your truth when it frightens you, by loving again after heartbreak. Resilience is the echo of your conviction, reverberating through every fiber of your being. I will not be defined by this defeat. Let's be honest. Right now, if your mental health feels fragile anxiety pulls you under, if depression whispers lies, if self-doubt corrodes your confidence, you are in the middle of a storm. But I'm here to tell you, storms pass. And the ship that's built to withstand the waves sails on. You are that ship, but only if you strengthen your hull. Your mind needs structure. It needs a map. Mindset. Decide today that you are the commander of your thoughts. You refuse to be a spectator in your own life. Belief. Declare a prophecy to yourself that your future is not determined by your past. Own it. Clarity. Remove distractions. Identify your highest priorities. See them as non-negotiable. Vision. Paint your future in vivid detail. See it, feel it, taste it, and let it haunt you until it becomes more real than your excuses. Purpose. Anchor your goals to something larger than yourself, family, cause, legacy. Let that purpose drive you when passion fades. Discipline. Build daily rituals that no one else understands but you. Read, write, move, reflect, train your mind to obey these rituals without question. Action. Move, work, create. Not because you're inspired, but because you made a promise to yourself. Gratitude. Count your blessings when nothing seems to go right. Feel them in your bones. Let gratitude fight off entitlement. Adaptability. Embrace failure as feedback. Test, pivot, iterate. Never surrender, because the path changed. Resilience. Stand when you want to collapse. Love when you want to despise. Hope when the horizon is black. Learn when you want to unlearn. Every heartbeat is an opportunity to strengthen one of these 10 pillars. Every moment you choose one over its opposite, you become stronger. Every day you master one micro habit. You shock your mind into growth. You wouldn't lift 100 pounds on your first attempt. You'd start with 10, 20, 30. Mental mastery is the same. Begin with baby steps. Breathe. Focus. Reframe one thought, then build. When you combine these principles, you become a fortress. A mind so unassailable that no external drama can dislodge you. When everyone is panicking, you are strategizing. When everyone is freezing in fear, you are moving. When everyone is quitting, you are persevering. That is the power of control. Control your mental health, and you command your life. But why is this urgent? Because the world is accelerating. Distractions multiply. Social media algorithms are designed to hijack your attention. News cycles breed anxiety. Economic instability fosters fear. And if you don't intentionally build mental resilience, the world will build it for you brick by brick. You will become a reaction to every headline, every tweet, every fearmonger. You will be a puppet, not a pioneer. Think about those first pioneers, Edison, Carnegie, Ford. They didn't wait for a today that felt perfect. They built in the darkest hours. They traded social lives for solitude. They traded comfort for growth. Their minds were their greatest assets. They protected them, fiercely guarding their inputs, choosing their alliances, investing in relentless curiosity. Now imagine you're living in 2025 technology at its peak. People more connected, yet more distracted than ever. The opportunity for mental mastery is clearer now than ever before, but only if you seize it. Because if you don't, you'll drift into the tsunami of distraction and you'll never see the horizon. This is why it's not just important, it's life or death for your potential. Without mental control, anxiety, depression, indecision, and regret become your default. With mental control, clarity births innovation, creativity births purpose, action births legacy. The choice is yours. So I urge you listen carefully to your inner dialogue. Is it painting you as a victim or as a victor? Is it whispering excuses or affirmations? Is it focused on past mistakes or future possibilities? Notice the quality of your thoughts. Are they serving you or are they steering you into a ditch? It's time to choke out the toxic thoughts. It's time to starve doubt of oxygen. It's time to flood your mind with truths that build, not lies that drain. Write down the affirmations you need. Speak them until they echo in your bones. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, who raise the bar, who share your hunger for growth. Remove the ones who normalize your mediocrity. Curate an environment that demands excellence, not excuses. When despair beckons, say, you do not belong here. When comfort whispers rest, say, only after I've conquered. When failure stares you down, say, "We meet again," but you will not have the final say. Every adversity, every setback, every heartache carries a seed of equal or greater benefit. But that seed doesn't sprout on its own. You have to plant it. You have to water it with gratitude and fertilize it with resilience. You have to protect it from the weeds of negativity. You are reading these words because deep inside you know there is more. You know that comfort is a trap. You know that ease is the path of the unremarkable. You know your destiny demands you go through fire to yield brilliance. So embrace the fire. Embrace the invisible war in your mind. Embrace the fact that each day will be a battle, but it will also be a victory. Because a mind that learns to control its anxiety, its doubt, its impulses becomes unstoppable. A mind that refuses to be distracted by short-term pleasures creates long-term legacies. A mind that sees obstacles as training grounds becomes an architect of miracles. Take this moment, take a deep breath, feel the rawness of life pulsing through your veins. Know that this is not another video to watch and forget. This is a call to arms. This is the moment you choose to become the commander of your mind. I will say it again. Control your mental health, and you control your life. Not tomorrow, now. Because every second you wait, the world tightens its grip on your attention and your destiny. Every moment you surrender to distraction, regret, or fear, you forfeit a piece of yourself. But when you decide to fight, when you decide to build mental strength, you claim your rightful throne. You become a general of your own thoughts, a sculptor of your own identity, a champion of your own destiny. And let me leave you with this. You are not broken. You are a masterpiece under construction. Each challenge you face is a chisel strike, shaping you into something extraordinary. Each fear you conquer is a brushstroke, painting the portrait of your highest self. Each day you choose discipline over distraction is a brick, laying the foundation of a fortress that stands when storms rage. So rise, stand tall in your mind, train it, protect it, command it, and watch as your life transforms. Because when you learn to control your mental health, you do not just survive, you thrive.